Hello and welcome. Today, I'm thrilled to share with you a case study that can quite literally revolutionize your understanding of digital growth. Now, if you're not familiar with who I am, I'm Keenan Lawrence, the founder at Sireno Digital, and for over the last 3 years, we've been implementing the strategies that I'm about to walk you through today to get our partners phenomenal results on a consistent basis. Now, let me make myself smaller because I want to dive right into this and you're not going to want to miss it. And I can guarantee that if you do pay close attention and you take notes, you will have left learning at least one thing that you can implement in your business. But more importantly, be equipped with actual actionable steps. What's possible? We're going to outline and uncover the keys to capital efficiency in contemporary e-commerce. And we're going to look at how we're able to add an additional $2+ million additional revenue for our ArcDroid in under 10 months using our integrated performance strategy. Now, I want to highlight that these are actually post-pandemic numbers. You'll see a lot of people online talking about what they did in 2019 or 2018 when the landscape was different. If you're interested in adding 7 to 8 figures to your business, then it's going to be beneficial for you to stick around. Bear in mind, this is just online. We're not talking about B2B, wholesales, distros, things of that nature. We're talking strictly through the online store on Shopify. So common challenges. Many businesses in the space struggle with their digital presence due to a lack of knowledge, resources, or time. From our experience, it's often a combination of all three, and this is why our solutions in this instance were set to tackle all three. Recurring themes that we come across, difficulty targeting the right audience, defining customer profiles, intense competition, and high customer acquisition costs. Traditional approaches that don't lead to optimal growth, and inconsistent lead generation and inefficient acquisition channels. Often we see company bureaucracies and long sales cycles. Now, we partner with established companies, and for a lot of the established companies listening, this is going to be things that you are familiar with. You want to implement a strategy, but you're just not implementing it quick enough. Why has this not been implemented directly in this quarter and is taken until next year? Who knows? These are some of the things we see. Now we need to outline, why do companies come to us? So why do people come to Sireno? People and many of our clients come to us when they see their competitors successfully marketing online, but they're unsure where to start themselves. They may thrive through traditional means, but may be unaware of untapped potential they can extract through their digital presence and alternative digital channels. We help businesses essentially leverage the power of digital advertising and expand beyond their traditional means and word of mouth. Word of mouth, trade shows, these things are great, but could you be doing better? Could you be doing more? Some of these channels may not be new for some of you, may have them set up, but there may be some inefficiencies and you may not understand the frameworks and methodologies and the synergy between certain channels, meaning the core components are not being optimized for them to work together as best as possible. This is important to understand. They are all interconnected. They don't work isolated from each other. So you may have an Instagram page, you may have an intern managing it, or you may have someone that's not frequently posting. You may be running a couple of ads, but how can we really get the squeeze? So we've established, what the common issues are for companies that come to us, and we're actually going to look into this specific case study and how we tackled it. So ArcDroid, let me introduce you to Andrew Miller, the founder of ArcDroid and 2AM Innovations. Before we started together a year ago, they were no different. They didn't have a consistent online presence. They weren't effectively promoting their products through paid or organic acquisition channels. So if we look at from June to July, these are numbers. And then we look at July to July, this is the difference. So if that's not enough, let's get Andrew actually talking himself.
Hi there, my name's Andrew Miller. I run a little company called ArcDroid CNC. We sell this gizmo here, and I actually sell quite a few of them too. And that's no small part to Sireno Digital. Keenan and his team have done a really good job of keeping our social media presence high, our ad spend low, but the revenue right on spot.
So this is a business that may be similar to yours. They've got a great product, but the online presence is not consistent, or they're not necessarily promoting things through a paid channel. So what do we do? What do we do? What's the approach? So let's establish who this is for. Our services are tailored to help established companies increase their revenue and cultivate their online presence. Now, the goal of this is to also lower their customer acquisition costs. So not only do we want to increase your online presence, your authority, and your revenue, we want to also decrease the cost that it actually costs you to acquire a customer, because these things go hand in hand. The more relevant you are, the easier it is for someone to discover you. The easier it is for someone to discover you, the less it should, in essence, cost for you to acquire that customer. And then the element of trust actually allows you to retain that customer for longer. So if you're a business that generates at least 1.5 million in revenue, this case study will be particularly useful to you, because we help winners win. We're not in a game of helping losers win a little bit. We help winners win with good products and sound, airtight marketing strategies. So what's the approach? The first step is to understand their business thoroughly. The research and analysis are integral and fundamental for us to create a bespoke strategy. And the reason why it needs to be bespoke is businesses are different. Your strategy and the way you implement things are going to be completely different. So once we're clear on what's working, then we can identify the areas for improvement, and this will inform the rest of the framework that we put into place. So I'm just giving you the background, who we work with, the results we're able to achieve, and how we go about this in terms of our approach and the methodology. After reviewing the primary data, we're then able to look at secondary data and industry research. So the primary data comes through an onboarding form. We'll ask a series of questions, get familiar with the business, and then that's when we can piece together sort of a comprehensive suite of services that can complement each other to drive success and fix some of these challenges in the business. So just to put it out there, Facebook ads alone aren't going to save your entire business. Posting on TikTok and setting up a Twitter account isn't going to save your entire business. But we were confident that phenomenal products coupled with our insights and expertise, we were sure that we'll be able to add an additional 150K to their monthly revenue. What this looks like in practice is, as you can see here, this is June 2022. We had a month of 112K in revenue. Then this is March 23. This is the type of growth that we're able to see. So that's what it looks like in practice. It sounds great, but after systematically assessing the areas for opportunity and talking to Andrew, the best step was for us to take control of all of the organic and all of the paid marketing to alleviate him from that burden. So let's start with the organic social. We've gone through our primary research. We've looked at the competitors within the industry, and then this allows us to understand, okay, what channels are we going to attack and how can we implement airtight strategies for each one? So firstly, we're going to look at the social media. We start with our organic channels. So we map out a content schedule. So we're talking about Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And this is not random. We're doing this based on the research because this is where the customers reside. So if their customers are here, how can we meet them halfway? Consulting and ideating what creatives we need to post on these channels. And we look at the data. So the data is what indicates how we can maximize reach. We don't just guess at random. We actually look at the information based on, okay, where does this specific segment of your customer profile reside? Maybe they are males aged between 40 and 47 and they reside within a specific city in America. The more resonance we have with the consumer, the better it's going to perform. What was also important about having this robust content management set up is that we want to have continuity across all channels. We want the brand values to be aligned in terms of messaging, in terms of how the product's positioned, and in terms of your authority in the space. The messaging, maintaining a consistent brand voice and aesthetic across all platforms and reinforcing the brand's identity was something that was very important to us. We're going through social media now bit by bit in terms of what we did to address each thing. So first of all, we've got picking the channels. The channels are not completely random. This is based on where the audience resides, based on the research we've done. Then we've got the messaging, making sure that things are consistent. Then we've got the graphic design. We want to refine the visual content, make it more appealing and aligned with the brand's aesthetic. So this here is just an example of something we did for the 4th of July giveaway, where we thought it'd be a good opportunity to embrace North America. This is a global company, so we've got customers in Europe. I think we've sold to over 20 different countries now, but this was something specific. Small details down to having the logo on a plane, having, this on the plane, having all of the information in one, having the box with the logo on. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about. Again, I do have resources on the best practices for different social media channels like TikTok, Instagram, and how you can take advantage of them in more detail if that would be useful to you. But today we're going over more of the high level stuff and the frameworks and strategies. So if you want to get more granular, we can absolutely do so. But I want to get this out there mainly to give you an understanding into the framework and thinking. Like I said, with the graphic design, we're talking branding, tone of voice, color palettes, typography, down to the small details and nuances between carousel posts and YouTube shorts. I've got content and resources on this, but this is not going to go into that. This is just going to be from a social media standpoint, what did we break down? Then we wanted to look at the user-generated content. This is extremely important. When we're talking about ideating and helping them come up with concepts for content, user-generated content again, is a huge one, and we've got systems in place because this actually allows us to drive engagement, traffic, trust, and then boost conversion. So we want to keep track of potential people we want to work with, but also people that have created content around this product. Because then, let's say they made a long form YouTube video, we want to be able to chop this down. User generated content is extremely important, but you want to stay on top of it. It's not just about asking some random people. You want to keep track of what platform they're on. You want to keep track of their subscriber count. You want to keep track of the affinity to the audience. You want to keep track of the response to your product within a video. This is all based on data. So I want you to know some things are emotionally led, but when it comes down to Sireno and our approach to the social media thing, is not just, hey, let's post on Instagram. No, we're keeping track of everything. We're looking into the graphic design, all elements. So as I mentioned above, we also looked at the video editing side of things. If we have these longer form pieces of content, how can they perform on different social media channels? So let's say someone here, we've got, the fabrication series, they've got 581k subs on YouTube, for example, or we've got something like Grind Hard Plumbing here, they've got 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube. How can we take a piece of them using the product on a YouTube video, and then how can we repurpose this? It's about understanding the different landscapes of the social media platforms. What you post on YouTube is going to be completely different to what you post on Instagram. What you post on TikTok, you want to be different to what you post on LinkedIn, but they all work together. Okay? It's a case of repurposing here that we're talking about. So we looked at the video editing side of things. So we've touched on having a consistent content schedule, user generated content, graphic design, messaging, a social media management schedule. And these are all integral to having an organic online presence. So this is where we're able to get a feel for customer sentiment. So once we have the initial awareness, then we need to ensure that the messaging is coherent and it resonates with their target audience. So organic posts, what we're able to do is see what's performing, and then we can actually apply and test these in our paid traffic because we know what works. So for example, like a post like this, one of the best yet, don't get me wrong, a lot of great fabs have been posted, but this one was clean, simple, practical. So now we know that people want to see things that are clean, simple, practical. This is a damn good idea. Now we have an idea of what we can post more, potentially what's going to resonate in ads. Again, I feel like many people are social media managers or they do paid traffic, but they don't understand how these components actually fit into a bigger picture. And this is why I believe having an integrated strategy where you have different departments, even if they are separate, communicating together is one of the most effective ways in terms of your digital presence. In an effort to respect your time, we're not going to go into details of hashtags or trending sounds in this case study. We're going to show you the high level stuff. High level framework for high level business owners and operators. You're going to understand that the frame that we see things from makes things a lot more predictable rather than it being down to luck. Once we've got the social media up to date, we want to educate, and we also want to optimize our key touch points. So we want people to be informed, because we found in the past that someone that is uninformed or confused doesn't buy. So how can we make this experience almost as smooth as butter so they have as least resistance as possible when it comes to purchasing? Because if they've gone from one touch point to another touch point, they've shown some level of interest. So it's just a case of not confusing them, educating them, and making sure all of the information they need is provided to them so they can make an informed purchasing decision. Some of the ways we go about educating and also optimizing the key touch points is building a sense of community. Now this is really important. We feel like interacting with the followers, that's what helps to foster a sense of community. They feel like they're a part of something. This is how the organic ties into this sort of key touch point optimization, because we can see commonly asked questions that will be on social media, and then we can begin to integrate them into the website or into emails. It's all about the customer's journey. You really want to prioritize the customer's experience rather than just, we've got a good product, it's good. What we like to do is reverse engineer it. So the reason that the education is so important is because this is a part in the sales cycle where people can often drop off by small things, minute things. Someone who is uninformed or confused doesn't buy. The time that we get back to people for us is extremely important. We want to make sure that we address objections early. So if someone has a problem or a query or a question, we want to get back to it straight away. And part of the social media management side of things for us is also managing the engagement on the posts. If someone's got a question, we want to get back to it within 24 hours, but we also store commonly asked questions so that we can actually build up a catalog of almost FAQs on our own backend. So if someone's consistently asking something, we can then begin to build out templated responses and get back to people as quick as possible. Because the quicker we get back, the easier it is for them to lower that resistance and continue with their purchasing decision, because they have no more rebuttals. So we created a custom platform for customers to interact, discuss products, and get support, reducing the load on our customer support services. As you can see, this is branded that links directly to the website, and you've got things like, general discussions, gallery, tips and tricks, file share, things that are private for staff, general discussions, etc. Again, educate, inform, and build a sense of community that is self-sufficient upon itself, on customers helping customers and customers providing value to other customers, to the point where we can actually remove ourselves from the process, and it alleviates the burden of customer support emails, because this was a huge thing. We were getting tons of emails. Some of them would be hyper specific and hyper specialized, which are great to get back to. Some of them wouldn't be. But why this is a great solution for both is because the common questions, we can just have them in a thread, we can have them up where people can always access them. Then the more specific ones is likely that someone else has experienced a similar problem. This is when the community forum becomes extremely powerful. We can lower customer support tickets, customer emails, and we can actually increase trust because people are educated, they have less stress, they can see someone from this country's bought it. So here's an example showing how an inquiry was raised and then we found the solution. So he's been trying to find information about voltage dividers, etc. And then what we're able to see, someone gets back straight away. This is really specific stuff. This is what I was talking about. It could be something to do with shipping costs, or it could be something to do with literally, voltage dividers and energy outputs, etc. Let's go back to him. Thanks for the response. You don't have to read the specifics of all of those. You can obviously pause, but the outcome is essentially thanks. I'll be on the lookout for notice. They got the information they needed. The information that can fix their problem will get to them eventually. And this was all solved really quickly. A lot of you may be thinking, okay, if I don't have the infrastructure or money to do this, how can we do this? You can do it simply through a Facebook group. You can do it through something as simple as a Facebook group. Verified users, you'll be able to see who's purchased. You can cross-reference that to when someone joins the group, and you can have a community based on people that have purchased something. And then you can lower your post-purchase customer support, but you can also increase the trust because these people then become advocates for your business and your product. So this was great. And this was something that we really wanted to implement to mainly reduce the amount of customer support emails that we had going in, but also find a way that we could address simple questions, but also more technical questions. Then we go on to the website and the UX. So again, I'm saying this stuff is based on research. We're not just guessing or making cookie cutter stuff. We're looking at the primary research, we're looking at the secondary research, we're looking at industry competitors, we're looking at best practices, we're looking at our experiences within this specific industry, experiences time from other industries, and relying on expertise. So we're going through a process here. Let's say someone just finds a social media, okay, they come across it, this is an interesting product. What next? What's the next step in the process? We're thinking from the consumer journey because we're trying to optimize for them to complete this purchase. So they find you on social media, that's all great. Social media is tied, you've got continuity across all platforms, you've got your TikTok set up, you're utilizing user-generated content, you're repurposing content, you've got a forum. What happens when someone becomes familiar with the brand and they're interested in a product? They're going to go to your website. The next touch point is then visiting the website. For us, this wasn't in line with our standards that we uphold for our online experiences, nor did it match the industry leaders when it came to prospective customers. So we actually redesigned the website, optimized the websites, and we've done this mainly to enhance the design for better user experience in terms of search engines, etc. We'll add the alt tags to the images. I don't want to get too specific, but if you know SEO, you understand what this means. And just from a visual aesthetic, you can see, this was the homepage before. So when you look at sort of the spacing, these gaps, there's nowhere to actually click directly and get to the product. You've got shop now up here, but it doesn't stand out any different from about us, contact, etc. What we wanted to do immediately, again, to reduce the amount of influx is have the price here, have the price available, have shop now here. Again, we've got 3 touch points pretty much above the fold where someone can access the price of the product and they can click and go directly to the product page. We want to instantly show them and educate them on the functionality. We want there to be a picture of it in use. We want to tidy up the branding, the aesthetics. We want to have the banner implemented, simple touches, and this completely changes the user's experience. Now suddenly they've gone from this to, okay, how do I just purchase it? How much does it cost? What are the benefits of this product? To this. From the jump, without you even scrolling, you've got 3 opportunities to click to make a purchase. You've got support, you've got contact us, you've got community forum. All of this is in support of the customer being able to be easily helped. Again, pricing options above the fold. In our edition, we were able to bring the price to the front of the journey. So then that lowers the need for someone to say, how much does it cost? How much is shipping going to be? You can see it straight away. So you've gone from the social media touch point to the website touch point, and you've been given the required information you need to make a purchasing decision. Things like the About Us page, we went in and tweaked in terms of the copywriting, in terms of the general design and layout. This was the original About Us page. As you can see, not much information, there's not much story, you're not really understanding the journey behind anything. We've gone in, we spoke to the founder, we've highlighted key touch points, we want to highlight the dates, we want it to be clear on what the story is and what problem this is going to solve and why he's come up with this solution and this fantastic product. So again, if you're a customer, this is just bringing in the trust, building on nearly 30 years of product design. These are all factual. Why it's designed in certain places, how he's involved in the everyday workings of the company. Don't be surprised if you call when the boss picks up the phone. This is absolutely true to begin with, but how we're able to lower these phone calls and emails coming in is through community support and bringing this stuff further to the front of the user's experience. So we've looked at the organic side of things, but now how we're going to look at paid traffic. Again, this is just another step in a very systematic process. So once the UI and UX were optimized, and also we've got our target in place because we know who we're speaking to, we can begin sending the exact people we want to the page. So we've got that general proof of concept. The frameworks are in place. The worst thing you could do is send traffic to something that's not optimized, because all you're going to do is send more people through an inefficient acquisition channel. Once everything's in place and you've got the proof of concept and you can handle a certain load, that's when you just want to increase the volume, okay? So we made sure to set up Google, Facebook ad accounts, and we wanted to utilize these powerful, extremely powerful platforms to get a wider audience and drive traffic to the website, because now we know who we're targeting, now we know what pain points we're talking to. We simply want to have more people go through this process. Something else we set up, once we set up the ad accounts, we've optimized the website, we've got branded forum, we're managing social media content schedules. We also wanted to set up the audience segmentation and custom targeting, because we've identified who the target audience is, and now we can have more personalized and effective marketing. Between 10 to 12 months, we spent over 6 figures in marketing spend, but the returns that I can show you, this is on Google alone. So we spent around 30K on Google, we brought back over $500,000 tracked through Google. Google's really accurate at tracking. You can see the numbers here. You can see the different campaigns we had set up, the segmentations. We've got, UK, Spain, France, US, Canada. We've got phrase match. We've got shopping campaigns. I'm not going to go into the details of the difference between shopping campaigns, branding campaigns, but I just want to show you the numbers holistically so you can get an idea of how this works. It's a system, it's a process. It's not just we're going to take your brand, we're going to take the website as it is, and we're going to run traffic. How can we optimize the key touch points? How can we optimize the social media? How can we even optimize the paid traffic campaigns so you see results like this? The results that we're able to see, I understand why we're able to get them. A, we've got a phenomenal product, we've got a phenomenal talent, and we've got a good understanding of marketing strategy, but they're so good, sometimes I'm reluctant to share them because people instantly think that we can duplicate it for them at this level. If you look at some of the ROASs here, there is an excess of 30, 40, 20. I believe we probably averaged over a quarterly period about a ROAS of 20. You can see here, we spent nearly 100K on Facebook ads alone from July to July. As I mentioned, when it comes to audience segmentation and targeting, we've got this set up here as so. I've done it in a chronological order almost, because this is how you want to take the steps. You don't want to run paid traffic before you've optimized the website. You don't really want to run paid traffic before you've optimized your organic social media, because someone may see an ad and then they click on your page and you don't have any relevant content, or the things you're posting don't necessarily resonate to them, or it doesn't address any of the common questions that they would have regarding your product. So just on the theme of paid traffic, I want to go over how some of our top of funnel stuff. sort of matches the bottom of funnel stuff. And what I mean by that is we have addressed so many of the key concerns, or we've got so many of the frequently asked questions available through, you know, the community forum, the content we post, the highlights we have on social media. We have so much of that at the start of the customer's journey. We were able to see purchase conversions come through early in the customer's journey. So what I mean by that is many people's strategy is, okay, we're just going to run cold traffic and then hopefully we're going to be able to retarget these people. But rather than doing it that way, we can make it a lot more predictable, and we can say, okay, what are all the common questions that someone's going to have when they first come across this product? How can we get it to them as quickly as possible? And then how can they make that purchasing decision? Then we can worry more about upselling them or providing them with auxiliary products that are close to the original product that they purchased that actually helps them. So once we honed in on who we're targeting and who our product is, a lot of this was addressed in SEO, organic content, and community building. The proof of concept was in place. We just needed more throughput. Correct inputs, people, leads to the desired outcome, which is profit. That's the 2 P's. You got your people and your profit. We had the proof of concept in place. We just needed more throughput through the machine because it's a system. If this is a system, there are areas that you can implement things into your business right now. And we're able to do this on a consistent basis because it's a system and we don't leave it down to luck. Many people don't know that great products can convert top of funnel. When the areas of resistance are already addressed and the foundations are well set, we were able to see actual conversions as expected, and also secondary conversions being sky high in terms of, you know, cost per millis, CPCs. Because when we have organic posts with high engagement, or even if our ads are getting a lot of comments and they're getting a lot of clicks and a lot of likes, that's telling the Facebook ad platform or Google this resonates with the people that we're trying to show it to. So it can actually lower our cost to acquire people because we're showing them relevant content and we're being rewarded for it. If it wasn't good, our CPMs and our CPCs would be high. So what I'm trying to say is when you address certain things earlier, it's difficult, but we're just showing how integral it is to have a consistent online presence that actually has thought behind it. Sometimes it can be a little outside your realm of control if you have competitors bidding on particular keywords, but how I see it is I don't like to see many things outside of our control. It's just not a healthy mindset. I like to see things within our control and control the variables very well that we do have control over. So for example, this is some Q2 prospecting and retargeting. We expect to see great results from prospecting and retargeting. Here, we've got an average ROAS of 19 for retargeting, but we're able to see phenomenal results through prospecting campaigns. So again, I don't want to go too detailed into prospecting, retargeting, but essentially the retargeting is showing people that have already showed significant interest in the product. We're just retargeting that person. They visit the website, maybe they added something to their cart, but they abandoned their cart. So this just shows some of the prospecting and retargeting between Q2. So this is sort of April to July 2023. Implementing retargeting strategies. This is essentially reminding the previous visitors of the brand and its offering, increasing the likelihood of a conversion. Because now we know the customer profile, we can literally target that person pretty accurately. And then it builds familiarity, there are multiple references, and sometimes that's what someone else needs to cross the mark. That feeling of like, whoa, you guys are on Facebook. Whoa, you guys are on YouTube. Whoa, I just seen you guys hit. Whoa, I'm just seeing an ad now. Okay, if you're spending money on ads, this must be profitable to a certain extent because I'm seeing this quite a lot. Another thing, people are busy. Life happens. Sometimes you just need to remind somebody. So implementing retargeting strategies are extremely important. But again, some people think they can just come in and just turn on some Facebook retargeting ads. They're going to triple their monthly revenue. What we're here to discuss is the framework and the implementations and all of the things before that. So if they don't convert immediately, okay, now at least with retargeting, they're within our ecosystem. We want to consistently show them social proof, and we want to also show them that if you're showing the most significant interest at this point, imagine when you own the product, what's that experience going to be like? So we'll sort of show them people that have the product, and we'll also show them the product's benefits. So it's a numbers game. Inevitably, people will convert if these steps are done correctly. You're starting to see as much of a process than guessing, and this is why we continue to get industry leading results, and we're confident that we can do the same for companies that desire to be disruptive. Again, you have to have the desire to want to change and be disruptive. The landscape's constantly changing and you have to be data driven in order to get effective results, and that's what we like to do. So huge thing. This is where I step into what I consider to be bottom of funnel, and how we can print into perpetuity. So setting up an abandoned cart sequence is the last squeeze for people that are maybe still on the fence and they've shown significant intent. For you to add something to your cart, perhaps you're just trying to figure out the shipping or if there are any hidden fees, but you're pretty close. What cart recovery allows us to do is actually set up abandoned cart sequences to, a lot of the time, reach the warmest prospective customers. So we like to incentivize with minimum gross cost and maximum value. What does this mean practically? Something such as free shipping or a conditional bundle. And what would these look like? A conditional bundle can be something that you get a discount on this main product if you also purchase this product, or you get free shipping if you purchase this within a particular time frame, just to push those people over the edge, because a lot of the time that could be the little squeeze they need. And how we know what they need is we'll also send out surveys. So this is something we've done. We'll send a poll to our customers and say, oh, we realize that you abandoned the cart. Pick from one of these options, why? Was it because it cost too much? Was it because the shipping was too long? Was it because you can't afford it at this period of time? And then we can begin to make informed decisions based on the customer rather than guessing and leaving it to luck. So again, these are the ways we like to incentivize these cart recoveries, and they don't necessarily cost us more, but the perceived value for the end customer is huge. This is just a framework to let you know what our abandoned cart sequences will look like. And if you're interested in any of the tools we use Brevo. We've used MailChimp, we've used the standard templated Shopify email sequences, but we use Brevo because we like to have a better understanding of the data and we like to track and see things a little bit clearer. So this is just how we set up the sequence. If you're wondering what we use to build up the community forum, we use something called Discourse. Let me know, I can shoot any of that over to you, but it will look something like this. Now, again, let's keep it mathematical. Let's use some arbitrary numbers and say your average order value is anywhere between $250 up to $1,000. And you manage to recover 2 to 3 carts a day because daily you have 18 to 25 abandoned carts. These are fairly conservative numbers. If you've got a good product and you've got a decent amount of traffic going to your store, you've got a high amount of daily sessions, maybe your daily sessions could be 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K. You could have 10,000 daily sessions a day. It's going to be likely that you have 18 out of 10,000 or 25 people out of 10,000 abandon a cart. So let's say we're able to now recover 2 to 3, which is a small percentage, really conservative, out of those 18 to 25 daily abandoned carts. Congratulations, you've just added an extra 15 to 90K to your monthly revenue here alone. Now, these numbers are based on it being 250 and 2, or it being 1,003, how much you can sort of save. So this is where you can really start adding some revenue. But again, you can only truly get this squeeze when the other steps that we discussed previously are firmly in place, because increasing cart recovery comes from understanding the customer's want. Why did they abandon it? And then this information allows you to lower the resistance to them making a purchase when you then message them again. And at this point, the reason I love cart recovery is because you actually have their direct email and they've shown a significant intent, that they've definitely been to your website, they've definitely put in their information. So even if we're talking small numbers, we're talking 2 people, product value $250, you're talking an extra 15K a month just through setting up your email sequences correctly. How much money are you potentially leaving on the table? For some of you, it could be the community management side of things where things are lacking. It could be the cart recovery. It could be the retargeting. It could be the social media repurposing. Some people, it can be everything. And when you fix everything and you've got a good product, this is where you see 7 figures pop out the other side quite quickly. Like I said, it's usually refining earlier steps in the process. It's dynamic, ever changing. You reap what you sow. Competition breeds innovation. Essentially, what you want to do is foster more trust, get less confusion, and increase social proof. That's an automatic risk reversal. And when I say competition breeds innovation, I mean that you get out what you put in. If your competitors are managing customer complaints quicker than you, or they've got better online presence, it doesn't mean that your business is instantly going to go out of business because you don't have a social media account. But how many people are potentially falling through the cracks? Now we go on to retention. So let's say somebody's converted. How can we squeeze more money out? Bingo, you got the conversion, someone's purchased. Maybe, that abandoned cart sequence worked out well, but why stop there? Once you got the customer, how can we increase that lifetime value and keep them as long as possible? They've shown that they like the product, they've shown interest in a particular product, and even better, if we've got their email and their phone number, this is when we can step into sort of email marketing and SMS flows, which we like to use. It can be a lot easier to convince someone to buy something from us who's already bought from us than trying to find someone on cold traffic and convince them to buy something. We've already got this customer segment that's super high intent, they trust us, and we've got their information. So again, this is where we use email flows, where we're able to contact our customers. We can use this for things such as giveaways, we can use it for updates, we can use it for some of these promotional seasons. And again, education, communication, the same things that made them a purchasing customer are going to be the same things that incentivizes them to be a repeat purchase because they're familiar with you. Okay, you give them more information now. You communicate with them more. You build a sense of trust. You add them to the community. You make them feel like they're a part of something and they've got the product that they want. So we've discussed all of this. What does that mean? What does that look like in reality? You know, we've looked at the things that we've implemented from the organic side of things to paid traffic to post-purchase, but what does that look like in person? So through our strategic partnership with ArcDroid, we actually achieved an impressive average monthly revenue increase of over $180,000 over a 10-month period. So this is not what they did monthly. We're not just talking, oh, this was the monthly revenue. We're talking of an average increase from starting to date. So that totals to around an extra $2.2 million in around a 10-month period. And to show you that, we can dive right into the Shopify and have a look. So if we're talking July 2022, 70K. And then if we're talking, November from that period, 370K. Granted, this is usually Black Friday and I feel like we could have squeezed more out of this. But the next month, 370K, that's nearly the same or comparable to a Black Friday month. We've got months like March, 390, 300. So I can show you with literally numbers how the gross sales were able to increase from, averaging over 100K months to pushing that 400K month. And I've just given you the whole system and framework of how to do it. Again, this does require a good product. We can always highlight where our customers have fantastic products. This isn't the only case, but there has to be an airtight strategy to get that extra squeeze. And again, for some of you, you're doing well through traditional B2B, but we're talking about how you can get that squeeze through direct to consumer, through really understanding your customer. And this is one of the keys to capital efficiency. What's phenomenal about this is we apply many of the same principles to our own business, which is why they're still a happy client of ours to this day. And we actually aim to double this figure in the next 12 months. So just to address the framework and methodology, we took a holistic approach to their online presence and we combine it with proven tactics to maximize impact. So we emphasize the importance of online presence and we talk about leveraging platforms like TikTok, Google PPC, etc. But they're individual components. The real magic happens and the synergy happens when you integrate them together. So this is why we call it the integrated performance strategy. It's tried and tested, is a framework. And to sort of illustrate this further, I feel like you have to understand the different channels. So we've got the single channel, multi-channel, cross-channel, omni-channel. Now, single channel and even multi-channel are a lot more product centric. When we're talking omni-channel, when we're really talking understanding all of the nuances of these little platforms and how they integrate with each other and understanding the differences and the nuances between TikTok and a reel and an Instagram post and a graphic design, this is where we're more customer centric because we're really interested in how we can provide the best experience. So again, the message is focused on value to the customer. The message is here focuses on the product or promotion. So some of you, if you're pushing through one channel, you're pushing the product, but what about the experience for this customer or a potential customer, should I say? So when we have them working in harmony, and it's funny like this is where we get the flywheel effect because the trust leads into the purchase leads into more authority, then we have more revenue to put back into ads, and then it creates a flywheel. So as much as there's downward spirals, there's also upward spirals. And we like our clients to be in a state of perpetual ascension. How can we be constantly improving? And the way we can be constantly improving is just by identifying the different touch points, optimizing them, and keeping the customer top of mind. Only up. Not being stuck to one particular channel or one particular trade show that you have to spend a lot of money for. So how can we have these things within our control? How can we think about the system and then reverse engineer it? So why Sireno? What made them choose us instead of a generalist agency? Our marketing expertise and e-commerce solutions are tailored specifically for businesses that meet a certain parameter. Let's dive into it a bit further. Let's dive into potentially cost. So, you understand the framework, but let's look at what you get Let's actually understand this. At Sireno, we built a team of industry-leading professionals dedicated to providing high-value, results-driven growth for businesses. By partnering us, he essentially got a web developer, an SEO specialist, 2 media buyers, a senior social media manager, a copywriter, a fractional CMO, graphic designer, the list goes on. I'm going to use some conservative estimates that I found online from things such as Glassdoor, Indeed, in terms of salaries for certain positions. And we're going to look at the numbers of how much this would cost. So if we look at the annual salaries, I've got US and the UK. I've got web developer, SEO specialist, 2 media buyers, social media manager, copywriter, fractional CMO. These are the annual salaries, but let's look at the monthly costs. If Andrew was to hire all of these professionals internally, he'd be looking at a monthly cost of $47,000, and in the UK, $31,000. This doesn't even consider additional costs associated with insurance, employee benefits, training, retaining the staff because you have turnover with staff. And what's fascinating is, for such a transformation, this would still be ROI positive. Paying 50K to get an extra 150K in revenue, even if you include ad spend costs, let's say, your ad spends are 15K a month, 20K a month, you're still 70K in the green. Okay, maybe you factor in cost of goods, you're still net positive ROI. However, with Sireno, he has access to all this at a fraction of the cost. Moreover, you don't have to worry about the hassle of recruitment, training, and ongoing management. It's essentially completely outsourced, dedicated, done for you, where you get this marketing to this level and standard with this framework for a fraction of the price, even though the actual price you would pay of hiring internally is still ROI positive. Clearly it'd be ROI positive, because we thought about how we can be capital efficient about each step of the process. And that meant that partnering with us was essentially an effective cost decision and a long-term business solution. We offer a full guarantee as part of our commitment to our client success. So we guarantee to increase revenue, lower customer acquisition costs, and improve the reputation within 180 days of partnering. And if not, we work for free until we deliver on our promises. So this omni-channel strategy, using our integrated performance approach with fully outsourced management, industry-specific expertise, and a desire for a long-term relationship, it made it a no-brainer for the team at 2 AM and Andrew to partner with us. Timeline for results. A lot of people are thinking about the price. Okay, what if this happens, the risk? Okay, you've got guarantees, it's cost effective. What about the timeline for results? Now, this is one thing where the timelines can vary depending on various factors such as your current online presence, how much things we'd have to bring into place. And that's why we have the bespoke approach, where we'll onboard you and look at your primary information that you have, but also the industry data around it. And then we'll look at your competitors and we'll look at how you can fit into the marketplace. So it depends on your current online presence, industry/niche competitiveness, and the scope of the project. Some clients can start seeing improvements within a few months, some clients can see improvements within 2 to 3 months. We're talking 60 to 90 days, but significant results usually do typically manifest within 6 to 9 months of implementing our strategies. And this isn't hearsay like, oh, because we need to test or da. This is more down to information being in the marketplace for a significant amount of time. There will be some elements of testing, but at this point we have a pretty firm understanding of what works. And if we have your research and we have information from your customer profiles, it becomes simple. I wouldn't say easy, it becomes simple to implement these things. So initially we've got the exposure and awareness. We need to get the branding for our potential customers. Then we've got the interest and intent. Once people know who we are, we need them interested. Then we've got engagement and desire. We need them to engage, create a desire for the products. Then we've got the consideration and education. Once people are interested, we need to educate them about their products and why they should buy from us particularly. Then you go from this element of trust to conversion. Once they know about our products, they need to trust us, because once they trust us, they're more likely to make the purchase. And then you've got retention and expansion, and loyalty and advocacy. So this is actually a roadmap in terms of a methodology and in terms of how we can see month by month what we try to do. However, you can actually apply these to what we talked about above. We're talking about UX, UI, community building, paid traffic, organic content scheduling. All of this falls into this. So it's very systematic, and you can begin to see that as a roadmap. Some people may have 3 out of these in place. Some people may have 6 out of these in place. Some people may have 7 out of 7 and they need an extra squeeze. But wherever you're at, there's always going to be areas for improvement. We might even want to screenshot this now and just be aware of it. If you've got an in-house marketing team, you can send this to them as a resource. Again, like I said, you have the framework. It's simple, not easy. It should be unreasonable for you to not add an additional 2 to 5 million in revenue if you follow the steps that we've uncovered throughout this whole video. If you made it this far, I know that you're probably serious about changing your business. So We've got the hard way versus the simple way. You've got a choice to make. You can choose the hard way, trying to manage the entire process yourself without the framework, access to the experts that do this day in and day out. This path can be a little bit slower, more expensive, and oftentimes more painful. I shouldn't have had this easy. This should have been simple, this graphic that I made. But simple, hard, linear approach. And this is sort of the simplified version of partnering with the experts versus the difficult way. You may get to B in the end, but you may have to go through some chaos in order to figure certain things out. And it's up to you, But yeah, alternatively, you can choose a simple way. You can partner with us. It's linear. Working with us is faster, more affordable, though not cheap, but it's frictionless. So affordable, faster, frictionless, and it allows you to focus on what you do best while we handle your online presence and drive growth. Growth through the social media, but also growth through the revenue, tangible results, not just we're gonna post some stuff or do some PR. No, how can we track this? I hope you found this valuable, and at this level that the partners that we work with are at, even taking away one piece of information can add hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to your annual revenue. Now, if you're not at that point yet, maybe it could add some tens of thousands, or it can actually help you reframe how you're going to structure your business in terms of your digital approach. Now it's time to take action. I'm sure if you've made it this far, you've got one piece of information that you can take away to take action on, or you could potentially ask a question. Implement that one thing that stood out to you, your business, your department, and thrive. Run with it. If you don't want to go at it alone, then I implore you to book in a call with a member of my team or myself. Feel free to drop a message or email, but I do implore you to take action, most importantly.